Thanks to the convenience of modern transportation, we're able to indulge in seasonal fruit and vegetables all year round. But did you know that imported foods are responsible for significant increases in carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere? In our next story, we take a look at how our choice of food impacts climate change.
Loving the earth is really quite simple. You can start by choosing what goes in your stomach. The distance food travels from field to plate can be worlds apart or a few steps away. It's all up to you. In the era of globalization, we can indulge the finest cuisines from around the world without having to travel at all. However, from an environmental perspective, imported goods can never outdo local produce. In light of the growing concern over climate change, the concept of food miles has captured public attention. From farm to table, food must be shipped by truck, boat, or even by plane. The more miles traveled, the more fuels consumed, leading to more carbon dioxide emissions. In Taiwan, a Californian apple travels continents to arrive here across the Pacific Ocean. A box of French chocolates has to circle half a globe to reach your stomach. Savor some Chilean cherries, take a few sips of a German malt soda, and have a New Zealand kiwi for dessert. In order for these delectable import foods to satisfy your taste bud, they have traveled 57,098 kilometers, emitted 26,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide. These overindulgences bleed the earth.
With the globalization of food supplies, the immense investment in transport systems, the way in which food trucks up and down motorways across continents flies quite unnecessary, and that the restructuring of agriculture is going on, led by retailers. Somehow we've got to get a grip of this.
Staggeringly, the average food mile is 1,770 kilometers in the United States. While most people are haggling over every calorie, a few have started to do the same with food miles. In 2005, a Canadian couple started living off food grown within 160 kilometers of their Vancouver home. Their 100-mile diet sparked a global campaign. In the United Kingdom, a shop called Crumbs is another shining example in Low Food Miles campaign. At the store, as much of the stock as possible is sourced from farms within an 80 kilometers radius, creating a greener, fresher and more community-led approach to shopping.
What is the point of bringing stuff from the south of France or from Spain when you've got it right here on your doorstep?
Local produce is fresher and seasonal foods are cheaper, so why are we going against nature to seek imports?
この宮古島でもやはり冬春季野菜とかまた夏場の野菜、農家と消費者をどう結びつけるか、地元の農家と生産者をどう結びつけるかっていうのが一番の役割です。
From UK to the US and Japan, more and more people are supporting the Local Eating for Global Change campaign. Vegetables and fruits can be delivered directly from farm to kitchen. No damage caused by transportation, no preservatives added. No longer requiring additional packaging and storage. Without going through importer and distributor, the distance between the two ends of the food chain is shortened. So to reduce our carbon footprint, we can start by bringing our eating closer to home.
Managers from a chain of convenience stores in Taiwan have been to the Tzu office in Sanchong to learn more about recycling. Store bosses found the event to be extremely informative and look forward to volunteering at a recycling station at least once a month.
Listening attentively to Master Zheng Yan's speech, a group of convenience store managers are learning about recycling through sorting rubbish.
We see these all the time in the store.
The trash bins in convenience stores are often filled with used bottles. So, how do we go about recycling them?
These two are of different materials, so we must separate them.
After a thorough demonstration on processing recyclables, store managers put on masks and gloves and head off for a practical lesson on sorting goods. Careful attention is needed in every procedure. Participants work scrupulously and, when in doubt, they double-check with recycling volunteers. In order to lessen the load for volunteers, some store managers are set to begin recycling with their own store.
Used tins, cans, papers and plastics from our stores arrive here in one big hodgepodge, which gets sorted by recycling volunteers. In order to relieve them of the extra labour, each store should complete the sorting process before sending them to the recycling station.
Another manager says he will call on more people to participate in recycling.
Regional coordinators like me are in charge of 9 stores. What we will do is announce to all staff details of recycling events and see if they are interested in taking part.
To bring forth a cleaner planet, the onus is on every individual to properly carry out recycling, both privately and publicly.
In Global View today, climate change has raised the stakes in the scramble for sovereignty of the Arctic region because shrinking polar ice could someday open up resource development and new shipping lanes. All this has pushed governments and businesses in a race to secure these suddenly priceless seas.
Russia contests Norway's claims to fish-rich waters around the Arctic Svalbard Islands and has even sent ships there to underscore its discontent with the Norwegian Coast Guard boarding Russian trawlers. Norway wants to increase the economic zone, claiming it is necessary for ecological reasons. The U.S. Geological Survey estimates the Arctic has as much as 25% of the world's undiscovered oil and gas.
The economic potential, I mean, the coal that we now mine up there has a certain importance. I wouldn't overstate that because compared to the overall production of coal in the world, of course, this is, you know, a very limited quantity. But and then we have the potential for finding oil and gas on the Norwegian continental shelf.
Many Russians have been residents of Barentsburg for many years.
Everything's changing for better here. The buildings are being restored. There's a lot of work in the port. A lot is being invested into coal mines. Also, the authorities pay a lot of attention to the electric power station. So we have great prospects here.
Local builders say they have heard about that Moscow has plans for settlement.
As far as I know, a big government commission has been here recently. The president's representative was here. They inspected everything here.
The Norwegian ambassador to Russia, Nord-Sletten, says Norway is aware of Russians' plans for increased research and tourism in Barentsburg.
As long as this is being done, you know, in compliance with our rules and laws and so on, that's fine.
But many Russians are suspicious of Norwegian interests in the disputed region. Russian military analysts say Norway's concerns about fish stocks and ecology are of secondary importance to the search for fuel.
The main underlying reason for the Norwegians extending the Spitsbergen Svalbard economic zone is the fight for the shelf, so that Norway could use the shelf for their interests.
Analysts predict that a larger argument will emerge about oil as the resources in Russia and Iraq are running out, meaning people will turn to the Arctic to search for fuel.